Final topic of today, Jimmy, is one that's going to strike you right here, bro. In fact, I even phrased this question in a way to ask you specifically if the
Hit me
if
with
the
it.
if the crime that was committed against you 30 years ago feels any better
Oh yeah, I got an
after
opinion.
this news.
I got
Uh,
something to say.
the NCAA is settling on a lawsuit against them, against for all these back damages. They're going back only a decade, Jimmy. They needed to go back 30 years for you, but they're only going back a decade, related to the name, image, and likeness restrictions against student athletes. So the NCAA is settled to pay 2.7 B with a billion with the B dollars. The conference has also agreed to create a forward-looking system that will allow schools to pay roughly $20 million a year revenue sharing to athletes. So they're projecting that had they not settled and they gone to trial, they would have certainly lost and probably had to owe $4 to $5 billion. So they got off with about half. And you know, this is just another step towards. This doesn't really solve the whole NIL thing, but it moves it forward to they're going to start paying, and there's other lawsuits and there's other litigation, or laws in Congress now where they're trying to figure out how they're going to manage NIL moving forward. But this is sort of the first major stone in paying back, athletes. So Jimmy, we know the Fab Five was the original sort of money-making marketing machine. They were printing money. And I'm sure you could tell us stories about just all this stuff. I mean, you've shared stories with me about just what they put you through.
Absolutely.
You'd have practice, and then you'd have, picture shoots and Nike this and doing all, they were just tramping you around, right? And not paying you anything. And so, Jimmy, my question for you is, and any stories you want to share, we would definitely love, but does this settlement make all that, as I called it, NIL abuse, make you feel better, or does it just still really stink?
No, it makes me feel better because they're actually admitting or doing something to pay and put money in the players' pockets. That's all we were advocating for. And you use us as an example, the Fab Five. Me and my Fab Five brothers went through this, but our hands were tied because they kept us under the amateur moniker, which we knew was a farce because we had Nike basically coming in and using us as unpaid consultants. They would give us gear or put gear in front of us, whether it was clothes or shoes, and they were like, we can't sell these things. So we would go through those things and be like, oh, okay, we like that, we like this, get rid of that, get rid of this. And the reason I give you the reason why the Huarache is considered the Fab Five shoe. I picked in high school, I used to wear cross trainers. I used to wear Bo Jackson cross trainers.
Yeah,
and hoop in those. And it was one of my favorite shoes. So when they came in there at Michigan, Nike came in with the duffel bags. I picked out the Huarache because it was it's the closest we could get to the color, but also because it wasn't a basketball shoe. If you look at it, there's no ankle support in that.
No.
So we knew if anybody or if they sold that shoe as a basketball shoe, we knew that was our influence.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So we went through all of that. That's why I appreciate what's going on today, so the kids can reap the benefits because we weren't able to. We just sat back and they labeled us as villains for speaking out. That's how the Fab Five became bad, is because we were talking about NIL deals then.
Then, yeah.
And so that's part of the the story that goes on with our legacy. But I am happy that the kids can benefit. Now, although I still feel like if they're getting 2.7 billion versus 5 billion, how much do they really have? And how many athletes are we talking about paying? Because $2.7 billion is not enough if you're talking about paying everybody.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna. There's no details on how that will be distributed or who's gonna get that, but hopefully it goes to athletes who earned it and b need it. I think that's important. I think, Jimmy, I think the thing about the whole thing that bothered me so much, especially hearing your stories, is look, I get the system back then. You got your scholarship, you got to go to school, you got to, you did all that, but it's like it was all the extracurricular stuff that you were telling me about besides just going to practice and playing games like other kids do. They were running you around like a child film star.
Oh yeah.
That is just like literally just parading you to this and to that and doing on this and it's like, come on, like, I mean, there's a level here where it's like, all right, guys, like we get it, they're valuable, but you're paying them, scholarship wise to play basketball, go to practice, go to class.
Yeah, but that's not. But see, here's the misnomer though, B. They're not paying us. We earn that, right? So
I know, I agree with you on that, but that's what they've been saying for 152 years.
Right, but
scholarships were payment.
Yeah, but it's no, you earn that. Like for instance, I could be a great basketball player and a bad student and not get into Michigan, because that's what happens.
Yeah,
it's a lot of players who want to come to Michigan, but they do not qualify. That is one thing about the University of Michigan that doesn't change and hasn't changed.
Jimmy, is that you?
Oh yeah, that's the NCAA telling me that I'm talking too much.
Are you getting subpoenaed to Congress now to talk about? They want to know. They heard a new violation tonight. They heard duffel bags. They didn't know.
They're like, oh,
they're
retro. Yeah, nothing. If it's anything, Nike owes us.
Yeah,
because the University of Michigan went from making $2 million a year to $10 million in 1 year.
The Fab Five is not getting one penny of that $2.7 billion.
You know what? If I could get 2 pennies and rub them together, I'd be happy.